So while we go into a secret room in a secret place and count the ballots, I'm going to talk to you about the state of the NAR, and it's been relatively easy for me to do this because the state of the NAR just keeps improving and improving. So I really haven't had to be the bearer of bad news, which, unlike my normal job, which is what I always do. So anyways, the NAR is great, and we've got a whole bunch of great things to tell you about. Our officers, at least at the moment, are myself, John Hochheimer, President, John Lingdahl, our Vice President, Mark Wise, Secretary, Tom Ha, Treasurer, Ed LaCroix, Carol Marple, Vince Hughley, Kevin Johnson, and Randy Bedway are the other trustees. And there'll probably be at least one change on that list after the voting. Let's talk safety again. And so I was out at the range yesterday, and like we have with lots of rocket ranges, there's recently, at least the ones I've been associated with, the wind sort of changes directions a lot, which makes it a challenge for the operators of the range in terms of controlling where rockets are landing, either under parachute or if some mishap happens. But just keep reminding yourself, angle your rockets on the pad so that they're going to land in a safe spot, both if it comes down ballistically, but also under parachute. Now, yesterday, early in the morning, I think they started out and everything was sort of floating away from the flight line. Then the wind shifted a little bit and things started drifting over the cars. And I watched one go over, watched another one go over, watched a big one go over. I was like, no, we got to make some changes. So we went out, we angled, we looked at the wind, we angled the launch rods in a slightly different fashion. All of a sudden it was great. Oh, they're going way over there, and not even close to things. And then the wind shifted. Now they're going back over. So, oh, we got to change again. So the point of all this is we really got to keep an eye on it. We can't move 100 cars and tents and all that stuff. So by just slightly changing launch rod angles, we're able to manage a lot of times around unsafe conditions. And this also makes sure spectators and non-essential personnel aren't out at high-power pads. I didn't see any of that, so that's a good thing. It is fire season here and in a lot of the states. So, you know, we need to prevent fire as much as possible. How many people use Sparky motors here? Oh, today, this week? No, okay, good.
There's a couple of them.
But there is a prohibition on Sparky motors because of the fire conditions. And have a plan for fire suppression. Now, it's too late when flames are starting to build up and all of a sudden it's like, oh, where's the fire extinguisher, where's the rakes, etc. Where's the fire department if we need it? And finally, just something to think about, do you have a safety plan for your launch? I mean, fortunately, where I launch, we're in somewhat of or at least close to a metropolitan area, and 911 still works, but you know, some of y'all probably launch in places that you may not have very good cell service. So what's your plan in case something goes wrong? All right, again, we're strong. The official tally at the end of July, our membership hit 7,040. That's not the highest point of the year, but at this point in the year, we peaked over 7,000 and it's just sort of floated around 7,000 for the last several months. Usually we see a dip in the membership numbers about this time of year, but we've been able to maintain it. I was a little bit wrong the other night when I said we had 235 sections. I don't know what I was thinking. We have around 183, give or take, depending on some of our talk sections go in and out. And we have at least 3,400 members that are acknowledged in our system as being in sections. My guess is we have more, but still not enough. And the more people we can get into sections, we think they'll have better experiences. Our finances are great. We have lots of money in the bank. And she just walked in. We have the best employee in the world running NAR headquarters. Beach is here. Todd Schwein is here. Our magazine remains the best ever. And we may actually even have a surprise for you next month. Our high power certification rate is continues to grow. And I continue to be amazed. And poor Marie gets all these things like, I just certified, where's my high power card? I want to certify, where's my high power card? Where is it? I sent you the money, et cetera, et cetera. But we're just constant, steady stream of people sending in certification paperwork. Our liability insurance remains at $5 million, so we got lots of protection. We haven't had to use it, which is a great thing. And we're making a lot of improvements to the website, and hopefully people are starting to notice. We're doing a lot of things to try to freshen things up and keep things current. All right, what else are we doing? We're going to give away $32,000 in scholarships and educational grants this week. Awesome thing. We maintain a robust section grants program. I'm not sure exactly how much we've given away this year so far, but I'm thinking it's probably in excess of $10,000 so far this year. So if you're in a section, send us a request. There's an online form that you can fill out. We'll give you $250 for pretty much anything to keep your section going. And then finally on this one, we consistently delivered in programs in the educational and partnerships that we have. Our partnership with the Aerospace Industries Association and TARC has been phenomenal. We're coming up on year 17 of the program. Trip and I are looking for replacements, so any volunteers will happily run you through boot camp. There's a 5-year apprenticeship program, and then after that, we'll, no, there's got to be a journeyman program in there too, I think, so. Well, triple, you'll whip them into shape in 3 years, okay. So, but anyways, TARC continues to be strong. Our partnership with NASA and the Student Launch Program is awesome and remains strong, and we're doing as much as we can in other STEM programs as well. All right, so here's our membership. You know, I continue to struggle how best to show this, but so this is our membership in this current calendar year, and I'll do my, no, I'm not going to do my red and white because every time I walk in front of that projector, I blind myself. But our peak this year was, so far, 7,089 members. And we're so close to 7,100, we'll get there. But this jigsaw or sawtooth kind of pattern, if you've heard us talk before, we continue to tell you that. So at the beginning of the month, the system purges everybody that's expired, and then it takes all month for it to build back up again. And first of the month, boom, it drops off. But this sawtooth has just continued to climb over the course of this year, and it's just been phenomenal. Our bank balance, again, pretty steady, hovering somewhere between $300,000 and $350,000 that we have in our bank balances. This little dip here corresponds to an insurance payment, the student launch program, and a couple other big bills hitting all at once. It took us a little while to pick back up. The government takes 30 days to pay. Sometimes they take a little longer, so we got our NASA check and things are bounced right back up. So again, finances are pretty strong. Where do we spend our money? Or first of all, where do we get our money? 75% of our income comes from memberships. Okay, so we are a member organization. The rest of it sort of split up. We get some from contracts. Our national events generate a little bit of money. Magazine ads, some money, and just some other miscellaneous donations, things round up the income side of things. And then where do we spend our money? Oh, yes, sir.
Just curious, does that magazine number go above the cost of the magazine, or does it just show how much you make on ads?
That's just how much we make on ads. Okay. The cost of our magazine is actually the most significant cost that we have. Publishing costs us 33% of our expenditures. Insurance, running headquarters, educational grants, other events, round things out. We include this in here because how we do our bookkeeping, but the Student Launch Initiative shows up as 10% of our expenditures, but we get that money directly back from NASA. So it's income and outcome, and they both balance each other out. Our association is very diverse in terms of age, and we're working really hard to increase diversity in other areas. But I like to say that up until probably 10 years ago, I was the median age member. Every year it kept on going up as I got a year older, that kept on creeping up. Until we really did a big thing with TARC, and all of a sudden we had a big spike in 16 to 21-year-olds, and then it's bimodal with 56 to 61. So I'm on the high end of our high-end tail, and I wish I was on the lower end.
Would you like a brighter pointer?
You want me to use it?
Some people
Will it like burn my eyeball?
if you pointed it in somebody's eyes, yes.
You don't want to trust me with that. Yeah, then I'd have to do paperwork, and Bob Blomster would be upset with me, and I don't really like to do paperwork. So, anyways, but median age is 51, but we do have this really distinct bimodal distribution now in the age of our members, largely attributed to TARC, but we think it's a great thing because it's pushing the age down much towards a lower median age. We have about 450 teachers, and again, we have over 3,000 members in sections. So what are our priorities? Safety, safety, safety. Right? Lots of things are happening and are able to happen in this hobby because we're safe. Right? Our insurance rates stay down. We get to use flying fields. TARC works. Schools work. Everything because we're a safe organization. We support and continue to support all forms of commercial sport rocketry. Do everything from, I forget who had Randy had the little Micromax thing. So we went from Micromax to some great big things. Gary was talking about an O motor yesterday. So I mean, that's a pretty wide range of capabilities that we have. Education and outreach are a huge priority and a big driver in our organization. Teacher certification, we develop a lot of educational materials, grants, scholarships, and again, TARC is going on our 17th year. All right, what are our priorities? We want to continue to grow our membership. Until recently, 7,000 was the lofty goal. Pumped it up. I want 7,200 by the end of this year, and hopefully we'll get it. We want to offer, and I think we do offer our members transparency in what we do, and allow people opportunities to participate in everything that we do, or as much as possible. Our board meetings are open, and people are welcome to come in and converse with us and sit in and listen, as well as participate in the board meetings. And we respond to questions and feedback. Talked about the section grants. We continue to support this in our local sections. We think this is a very important program. Helps sections buy the necessary equipment. You can buy launch systems, safety equipment. You can even do outreach activities with the section grants. So.
Marketing materials.
Marketing materials, yep. All right. How many people were at the Rocketeer reunion? All right, so you already got the spiel, but I'm going to remind you. We need to preserve our culture, and you too can get a pin. Who here donated since Saturday? Anybody here donated since Saturday? You did a donation? You already got the pin?
Well, if anybody bought a print as well, and I forgot to give you a pin, come and see me, and
You bought
I'll square up with it.
Nice. Steve Foster. But you could, literally as we talk, and I won't be insulted, if you go to that website, stretchandstable.com/NAR, and you hit the continue button, and you go to the donate thing, and give us $25, I'll give you a pin. Tonight only. And tomorrow and the next day. But it's amazing. Every donation that goes in there, I get an email and says, somebody gave us another donation. And Sunday morning I get up and it's like ping, ping, ping. I was like, oh wow, these guys are really active. So again, great cause. We're really gearing up to support not only completing the initial Stein collection, but the Estes and Priester collections as well. And they're doing some awesome things there. All right, another program that we're doing and people are generating a lot of excitement over, next year is the anniversary of Apollo 11 and the moon landing. NAR is planning on, and we are supporting several different activities related to this anniversary, including if you talk to Chuck and the section people, our educational programs, NARCON has a theme around Apollo 11, and even TARC is it's got an Apollo 11 theme. So stay tuned, talk to your section people, contact Chuck Neff, contact Vince Hughley. Look for announcements both in the Rocketeer and on our website, and hopefully you'll participate as well. All right, what else we got? Oh, scholarships and grants. All right, so this year we're giving 7 Cannon grants for teaching programs, 10 $2,000 NAR scholarships, and we have 2 new scholarship programs that were just initiated this year, and they're endowed scholarships. The Len Feshkin's family created a scholarship for students that are in aerospace engineering, and that's going to be awarded the first time this year. And the Glita Esty scholarship from Glita's family is an endowed scholarship of $3,000 for a female student entering her first year in a STEM program. Really, really excited. Friday at the banquet, you guys are going to announce the winners of these, all the scholarships in these 2 programs. And I think Glita and her family just remain so excited about this, as well as Len's sister in the Feshkin Scholarship. So if you know anybody else who would just love to endow us with some long-term money, this is one thing that we could use it. So we'll find a lawyer and help rewrite your wills if you want us to. Take houses, stock, no children, but anyways, this is one way that you can help pay for it as well. All right, so this is some of the board actions that we did in February and some of the things we had. And the next few slides are sort of an update based on what the board discussed and what was going on there. So we hired an accounting firm to help us out with some of the day-to-day accounting issues. That's going fairly well. They're handling some of the bookkeeping stuff and getting ready to file our 990 form as a nonprofit, which is extremely important, and the timeliness of filing that is very important and what keeps us as a nonprofit. We're evaluating how to preserve the history of the NAR. So in addition to what we're doing with the Museum of Flight, there's some additional NAR history materials that, as an organization, we're trying to figure out how do we deal with them. What should we do with slides, photographs, important documents? Len Feshkin's had a lot of theory and calculations, and I should know the answer to this, but what did Len?
Feshkin's melody.
Collaborated on a solution in topics of the next level rocketry trip that actually speak to that more authoritative.
The Feshkin, all right, this is your homework assignment, so go look up the Feshkin-Malawicki equation, and there'll be a quiz at the banquet on Friday. So there you go. So I know how to get out of these things. All right, so, but anyways, we're continuing to have conversations and try to come up with plans on what do we do when somebody wants to donate written materials, photographs, old historical documents that really don't fit with the program that we're establishing and doing with the Museum of Flight, but still have some benefit to the NAR in the future. So we're working on that. We took to heart the fact that last year the election results were very, very poor. The voter turnout was the lowest ever, probably. We did some mistakes. We acknowledge that we didn't do a good job. We did a lot of stuff this year to try to increase that. I think the good news is we did increase it fairly significantly. The bad news is we just haven't increased it enough, so we're going to keep working on this until we either find out that people just don't want to vote, or what the issue is and how we can get more people to vote for our trustees. We know we need to communicate with the members and keep communicating. How many people read eRocketeer? Wow. How many people don't? I won't pick on them. But with the help of Trip Barber, we've really ramped that up. I have the next issue poised to go, and as soon as we get the election results and things, I'm going to add that to it and send it out probably tomorrow or Wednesday. So we're trying to figure out new and improved ways of communicating. And again, the website continues to improve. Top Schwein and John Bolden are doing a lot to make some changes to the website. We found some glitches that made it really slow when you, especially when you're looking for sections on the map. So we figured out what that was. They made some changes, and now it's speeded up, that kind of thing. Just doing a lot to improve their website and make it fresh. So let's get a little bit more specific. So in elections and voting, we increased our effort to recruit candidates. We sent out emails. We talked to lots of people. We had 6 candidates running for trustee elections this time. Probably not the all-time high, but that's a significant increase over some previous years. We tried as best we can in as many forums as possible to increase awareness of the elections. Sent out through Constant Contact a blast email about for candidates, as well as notifying people that elections were coming up. We emphasized it as much as possible in the eRocketeer. We made it as prominent as we could on the website. And in Sport Rocketry, we had even a special section in there for voting. We gave you 3 different ballot options. You could vote on the web. You could take the paper piece out of the Sport Rocketry and mail it in, or you could come in here and do it in person. So, and communicating members, again, we increased the frequency of eRocketeer. We're doing web updates in Sport Rocketry. And I just wanted to show you a few things. These are some of the analytics from our website, and I haven't had time to thoroughly jump into them, but there's a couple cool things that we're seeing in here that we want to sort of explore and see what's going on. So this is our demographics by age. So 18 to 24, 25 to 34, so 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40, 50, 60. But what's pretty amazing is the age demographic is fairly flat, which was actually surprising to us. You know, we would have thought that, like the age of our demographics, it would have been skewed much higher in the upper ages, but it's fairly consistent across the board. And in terms of male, female, 81% of our readers are male and 18% are female. This just shows our average number of sessions, or how many times people log in and log out over the course of at any given time. And that stays relatively flat at about, I don't remember what that one was. It's about between 4,000 and 6,000 is per day is what it averages out to. New versus returning visitors. Actually, this is one of the ones that was interesting to me. So we get about 36, 37% are new, and there are 64% are returning visitors. And Google Analytics, Todd, I haven't done anything on our site with Google Analytics. Returning is, oh, you're right. Okay, so 37% are returning and 64% are new. So we get a lot of people that say, hey, what is this? Oh, this isn't real estate.
That may skew with the fact that our membership is increasing monthly.
Right, we're getting new visitors because of members. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, but anyways, we're getting some interesting numbers, and we're going to start looking for trends and use this kind of information to help us improve the website. The last two slides I want to tell you about the website was, again, something that we think is starting to be interesting. And this, over the next two slides, are the top 25 pages that people visit on the website. You know, of course, the home page we would expect to be the top one, but okay, so my membership is our members logging in to get members-only information, to go into NEON system, to renew your membership. But then we got some stuff that was actually pretty interesting to me. So there's some safety stuff in here. There's people that are interested in laws and regulations, but in high-power stuff. Find your local clubs, fairly high. Again, find a section. Where are some launch sites? How do I find a launch site? Is actually what this one is. How do I join the NARs? It's actually fairly far down in the top 25. Where are our clubs? I'm interested in my level 1 certification. Our national events, which we would hope are fairly prominent. And the second one, again, find a launch, information on rockets and motors, our launch calendar. So where launches are things that a lot of people are interested in, and that's one of the analytics I think is going to be really helpful. Do we need to do a better job and work with sections to make sure that our launch site and when our launches are occurring are things that are kept up to date? So anyways, we're starting to get this information. We're going to use it to continue to improve the use and usability of our website. All right, competition. I'm just the messenger. No, just kidding. So the early results are, we have roughly a little bit over 200 people total who participated in the competition program this year prior to NARAM. So not too bad. We have a new contest board chair, Dan Wolf, who assures me that he's got a lot of really cool ideas that he wants to implement and use as part of the new format for competition. The rule change process is underway, and you can go into that system and suggest changes to rules. And then again, in some feedback to you all, in that we hear you and we hear and understand and are trying to affect changes that you think is important and you tell us are important. So last year about this time, one of the hot buttons was, you guys took away the section championships in competition. That's really, really important to us. We don't have a solution yet, but we got some really good people working on it. So Ed LaCroix, Glenn Fevier, Dan Wolf, and Mark Bundick are teaming together, and they're going to come up with a way to put section championships back into the format with the new competition format. Stay tuned, and Ed says by NARCon we're going to have a draft for the board to review, and so or sooner. And so the plan is by the end of this year and in the next contest year, we'll have something for sections. All right. Also, again, we're still paying up to $350 for sport rocketry articles, and there's some people that are really capitalizing on that. So if you have something, you know, write it up, send it to us. If you have questions, you can contact myself or Tom. And you know, we're always looking for new and fresh information for sport rocketry. So how many people here have actually written a sport rocketry article? All right. Keep writing. We continue to support motorcato.org and trying to analyze and provide feedback to the motor manufacturers in terms of motors that cause problems. So if you do have a Cato or some problem with a motor, motorcato.org is really easy. You can fill out the form online. We're working with Tripoli in their program in certification and to align things, and we're also looking for new ways to use the information, ask some different questions to make it even more useful. So you can help us when you have a problem by just remembering to go online and provide us with the information. Almost everybody has cell phones with cameras on them now. Take a picture of the different things, and we may be able to loop back to you if we have some specific questions, and you can send us the picture. And Facebook, we have over 6,600 people who are members of our Facebook page. All right, I am coming to a close, I assure you. So, our primary concern, again, safety is very high on our concerns. We have had no insurance claims from 2016 to the present, and let's keep it that way. All right, again. I don't like writing out paperwork and filling out forms, so and it keeps our insurance down. But remember, if the rocket should not be flown, let's not fly it. All right, we still have some near misses. You know, again, reminiscing from yesterday, we had some stuff that was really coming in close and within the cars. Stop, sort of analyze the situation, turn the launch rods, change angles and your approach, and let's keep it safe so we don't have these landing mishaps. And again, all right, we're paying, let's see, last year I wrote a check for over $78,000 for our insurance. And that's actually a really, really good rate, given the number of our members. Let's keep it that low. The increase year over year was just a reflection of the number of new members we had between last year and this year. We have had no claims and nothing that we've done or that the insurance industry thinks is safe or unsafe with the hobby that's caused any changes to increase our insurance payments. So we're going to stay financially strong, and we can spend money on good educational programs and give it back to sections and not give it to the insurance company if we fly safe. All right, so what's some of our other, okay. You are the ambassadors of the NAR. You can help and continue to help to attract new members. You get new members new people come and fly rockets at your sections. Suggest to them that they join the NAR. Launch sites. We're always looking for new launch sites. We lose them, we get them, we lose them, we get them. Oftentimes it's not our fault. Sometimes it is our fault, but you know, if you have a launch site, cherish it. Even if it is your property, treat it like it's your living room. You know, these are one of the most important things for our hobby, is having access to fields to fly. So treat them and the neighbors very kindly and treat them gently. Leave the launch site looking better than what it looked like when you started. We can use more sections. We still have a lot of members that don't belong to sections. We know that our membership retention year over year tends to be better when people are flying with other members. And we can always use more volunteers to improve some programs and services. And local clubs can also use volunteers. Right? You don't have to do things at the national level. Volunteer locally. If you have a local section, run for office, do outreach, help with the launch equipment, help set up, tear down, and everything associated with running the launches. I think this is maybe one more, but every once in a while people will call me or send me an email and say, gosh, $62, that's just a lot of money for a membership. I tend to disagree, and we haven't had, when was the last rate increase? It's been a long 10, 15 years. Okay, so we haven't kept up with inflation. So I can escalate it for inflation if you all want, but we have no vision of increasing it anytime soon. So what do you get for this $62? You get a magazine, you get $5 million worth of insurance, including fire insurance, but let's not use it. You can get high power certification up through level 3. If you go dormant on your membership for a few years and come back, you still have your high power 1, 2, or 3 certification, unlike our competitor. We do, in U.S. and international competitions, and we have family member discounts for multiple people. So, quite a value. So what can you do? Fly safe, recruit new NAR members, take your turn volunteering, do community outreach, make sure everyone knows and takes advantage of our scholarship and grant programs, be safe, have fun, pay forward, and be good shepherds. Thank you. I'll open the floor now to any questions.
Hey, John, do you know the membership churn rate, percentage of members that don't renew every year?
Okay, the question is the percentage of members who don't renew every year. All right, I'm mentally thinking of the picture that I saw that tells me it's roughly 20-25%. So, and a lot of that's younger members. So we get a lot of college students and TARC students, and they'll stay in the program as long as they need it, and then they go out. A lot more schools are requiring NAR membership for the insurance for any students that are participating. And Marie can attest to that. We get sheets and lists and all sorts of fun things that she just pounds her head against her computer. And, but we're getting lots of youth members, and I think that's reflective of a lot of the turn rate as well. So, other questions? Yes, sir.
So, one of the things you said was invite people to come fly at your launches to join the NAR, but those people aren't covered until they do. And we, my section, and I'm sure a lot of other sections, often have scout groups, 4-H, so on and so forth, young people coming who we want to hook, but they aren't covered unless, in my case, the Boeing company is covering it because the Boeing employees want to rocket. So, but for other places where we were suddenly no longer part of the Boeing company, we wouldn't have insurance for those participants. How do we handle that? Until we ask them for $25 or $62. How do they fly with us without being members?
Section insurance.
Well, now the section insurance just covers the section and the landowner. All right, how many recorders are on? No, just kidding.
Actually, could you repeat the question?
Okay, so the question is, so if we have a lot of youth groups and younger members, 4-H clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, even adults who don't have, that aren't members. All right, so we're still covered.
Right, understood.
All right, they're running, especially the adults are running the risk of having a claim, and they're bearing the risk. Now, the scout groups, they actually may have some insurance through their organizations.
If they declare it an event.
Right, that's their,
In
and
advance, yes.
quite honestly, if something bad happens, everybody's going to get pasted. But the other thing is, you can't sue a minor. They have no legal standing. So for youth, they have a little bit of benefit too. But quite honestly, they're bearing the risk, and as long as we fly safe and follow the safety code, we're pretty much all covered.
Well, yeah, long time ago, yeah.
Right. So,
Philosophical more than it's actual in any regard.
but the best we can do is,
I will add that because at the point we were exploring the idea of severing our relationship with the Boeing company because we don't get anything else from them anymore. And this became a big sticking point. And we looked at what some other organizations in our state have done, which has also become a prefecture of privilege because if you have adult supervising, they're covered. Anybody that, any young people that are
So the gist of this, but there still remains some ambiguity in insurance coverage for non-members, and I mean, I get that question all the time, and I get some people that call me up and get into very heated conversations with me about insurance coverage. But all I can tell you, our coverage, we're very clear that you're covered if you're a member, sections are covered, and landowners are covered. And that's the insurance that we're paying for. Now, we can certainly explore covering other entities, but it's A, not in our fiscal interest to do that, and secondly, we're going to end up paying a lot of money for coverage that I don't think we really need. So, yeah, so, Bob?
I just wanted to point out that somebody's homeowner's insurance probably covers them.
Yeah, and Bob saying, you know, people's homeowners insurance probably covers you, and that's a true statement. And I mean, I have additional insurance on my homeowner's policy for additional liability. Just give myself additional liability coverage for things like Rocketry and other crazy activities that I do. So, yes, Trip reminded me, TARC teams are covered if they fly with us. So any groups that are coming out for TARC, the team members, our insurance automatically covers them. So, I know more about insurance than I ever thought I would, and I still don't know enough. And Bob Blusser, our insurance agent, is a saint. And people call him and ask him all these questions, and I'll call him and ask all these questions, and he'll call me and say, John, do you have a moment? And I know then it'll be a long, drawn-out conversation, but he's great. He's great to work with, and he's got our best interests in mind as he represents us. So, all right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can I ask a non-insurance question?
Please.
I saw Ed's post on the Facebook group about getting more articles or more authors for the NARAM articles. That Sport Rocketry author payment doesn't include these articles, do that? I mean, you'd have a lot less trouble getting people to write NARAM articles or picking up on it, even though it was prorated. I mean, you know,
Okay.
if you're just going to do
Uh,
division altitude or something.
Okay, that's a good point, Jack. Thank you. And I will consult with our publishing department and our editors to see if we can come up with something good.
So I don't care.
If Tom made that announcement yesterday and it's only on Facebook, can we have it redone again? Because I haven't heard about it either. His request for help.
Oh, okay.
It's in the announcement section of the Facebook group.
Okay.
So, yes.
Some people don't use Facebook.
I still don't want to do it. I don't know the time zone. So let's see. There's 3 of us here now that are time zone confused. Oh, Mark's here. And Chris is. Oh yeah. There's 5 of us here that are really compromised now in terms of time. So Tripp and I were both in Warsaw on Friday, and Steve, Chris, and Mark were in Warsaw on Sunday, and now we're here in Colorado. So
what were the results?
What?
What were the results?
Of the internets?
Yeah.
Hard questions. I was team manager and I got a medal. That's the results. But seriously, you have to tell me. So the junior S1A team got a gold team, which is altitude, and a silver individual for Allison, and a bronze for Trevor Harrison. So Trevor Harrison, this is his first year flying international competition, and was that his first event? This is either first or second event that he flew, and ends up on the podium with a bronze medal. I mean, and this kid is hooked. And his father is a precision machinist. And his father Dan has the best eyesight and the best tracking ability of anybody I know. And if you haven't seen it, the altitude models are not much taller than this, and what are they, about 10, how big around diameter?
18 millimeters.
18 millimeter in diameter, so this big by 18 millimeter, and they're not painting them many bright colors, and even at 600 meters, who can tell what color it is anyways? This guy never missed one, at least on the US team. We're all looking at him, he's like, got it, and it's right there. So, and then the senior altitude team got a bronze medal, Chip Barber, Emma Crystal, and Dr. Bob Kreutz. And me as team manager. So. I'm just going to keep talking. Any other questions? See, if I hold you in suspense, they'll stop asking questions to get the result. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for historical artifacts, I guess the question is towards Tom, mostly Beach. The various articles and materials that were sent to Sport Rocketry, are those all retained, whatever wasn't published and the like, that may not be historical?
I have boxes of stuff.
So the question is old materials that were sent but maybe not published in Sport Rocketry, are those materials retained for historical significance? And Tom Beach said he has boxes of stuff and he's more than willing to give them to you, Steve, to put in your living room. No, you didn't say that, Tom, did you? He's shaking his head. Yeah, come on over, Steve, with your pickup truck. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
You talked about printed material being donated to the Museum of Flight. What about non-printed actual artifacts that those of us in the membership have that we know even the family does not have, that the membership might have?
Okay, so the
Historical pieces.
what Bonnie's question is, so there are, I'm sure, several artifacts of very prominent historical significance that may not be in the collections at the Museum of Flight. And I guess your question is, what should we do with them? Probably the safest answer, and I'll like watch Pat Fitzpatrick as I'm making my answer, and I'll know I went too far when he starts to cringe. But for now, I think the safest thing to say is hold on to them. The Museum of Flight is trying to catch up, right? Well, they've got a lot of stuff. They're going to catalog it. We're in the final throes of hiring somebody to start this process. Once they get everything cataloged and indexed and photocopied and all the other stuff that they do in curation, then we can take a look at it and figure out, okay, now what's missing and what's significant that we want to continue to add. So, and they can't handle us continuing to send them more and more stuff. So hold on to it, let people know that you have it, and that it's something that's out there, and as we catch up with this whole process, then we can figure out what to do with it and how to keep it in prominence to preserve the history. Yeah, man, Pat, I didn't make him cringe at all. I gotta keep going. And then if something is gonna happen and you, especially if you have old stuff like old Sport Rocketry Act stuff, newspaper clippings, it doesn't matter, just send them to Pat. Yeah.
Plans or no plans might be for Apollo 11 next year?
There's a lot of groups that are planning launches around the time of the anniversary. Other than that, the best thing I say is just stay tuned. We got a couple of things rolling out. I could totally misrepresent some of this stuff, and I want to do that. So the sections are all trying to gear up and make sections aware and do some different contests associated with landing around Apollo 11. I'm sure there are going to be Saturn V contests and all sorts of other things, but stay tuned and we'll try to just keep everybody interested and keep it rolling. not allowed to ask. Steve wants to know the results of the election. All right, Jennifer, tell us the results of the election.
All right. Joyce reminded me I spoke a little too fast, so I got a buzz. You have to understand I had a slight family emergency. My Bubbles doll was left out on the field, so she's back, she's safe, we're good. There were 133 mail-in, 94 online, and 40 here at the town hall. So that was 267. Dave's going to check my math here we had. So I'm going to read from top to bottom the numbers, and then I'll read you, and then I'll announce the top three. Art Applewhite got 68 votes. Ed LaCroix got 180. Steve Lebliner got 133. John Thompson got 77. Jim Wilkerson got 157. And Mark Wise got 147. So as usual, it was close. So the top three were Ed LaCroix, Jim Wilkerson, and Mark Wise, who will be your NAR Board of Trustees for the next 3 years. They're going to start their sentence later on. Remember, I was 1 for 12. So thank you very much to Art, Steve, and John for running. It is always nice to have an election that people have a choice. It's not, oh, it's the same 3, or oh, we're just re-electing. So thank you, that is your results. And any other questions? I'm going to turn it back over to John.
So, no, kind of not really. No, I'm not looking at those numbers. I'm looking at the total number of people that voted. Well, I can't do that mental math that quick.
They already did it for me.
Ah, okay. You cheated. So 267 people voted this time. Last time it was right around 100. So we.
It's our best number since 2015.
Okay, so it's the best voter turnout since 2015. So we made a little bit of an impact, but we don't feel that that's still significant enough. So stay tuned. We got some more things planned to try to increase voter participation. All right. So I have 2 awards that I'm going to give out tonight while I'm still here. I'm here tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to meet with Bill Stein at Estes to talk to him about what we can collaborate on together. And I'll be out on the flying field. Then early Wednesday morning I'm going back to work. I've been away. I was in Europe for 3 weeks doing all rocketry fun stuff. How many people were following the international rocketry competition? Awesome. U.S. team kicked butt. If you would have seen them in person, you would be proud. But just be proud that they represented us well. 4 years in a row now, the U.S. has dominated the international competition. So, international, sorry, not an FPL game. We're not the kids are better than the adults. But anyways, so I do want to give out 2 awards, and then I'll stop, and you guys can adjourn and go turn in scale models and sleep or whatever it is you go build on. I haven't done competition for a while. You go build models or drink beverages or whatever. So, Dan Winings, are you here? I think you are. Well, so Dan Winings was NAR contest records chair for. We don't have evidence of how long you were the NAR contest records chair, but he had dark hair and lots of it. Well, he still has sort of lots of it, but oh my gosh! So a long time. So I want to present Dan with a President's Award for service for serving as contest board chair and helping with contests. This next award, I'm really sad to have to give this one out. So when I came on the board, I don't even know how many years ago, I think it was 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I came onto the NAR board. There was this guy who was on the board at that point in time, and he sort of took me under his wing and, John, you need to learn how to fly high power. I'm like, okay, I'll learn how to fly high power. And I'm a level 3. And he's like, And John, that stuff you drink, that's just, ugh. Let me teach you how to refine yourself and do a better job in the beverages that you consume. So John Lingdahl has been on the NAR board for 15 years. He's served as our liaison and been associated with standards and testing and is really working hard. And we're not going to let him go on that position, but he's helping to keep standards and testing going. He's a level 3 flyer and he heads our NASA student launch program. He deals with NASA contracts and like a lot of other people, had a lot more hair before he started that part of his job. But the contracts people do really crazy things, like they process your payment and then delete all the subsequent years of your contract and then make you rebid the contract and only give you 8 hours to do it. And John's a saint. He does all of this stuff for us. So, but anyways, I want to recognize John Lingdahl, and a very good friend and a very good friend of the NAR, and we'll give him this President's Award for Service as a NAR trustee and a sommelier for 15 years of service to the NAR. So John, now the floor is yours for your 2-hour speech. All right. I have nothing else. Does anybody else have any business? This is awesome. Jennifer.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
We have a message adjourned. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.